Okay, and we left off right here where we said that the square root of a to the fifth becomes a to the 5/2. And then if I have the fifth root of b cubed, that's the same thing. Remember, this is the root on the bottom, and that's the power on top. So it becomes b to the 3/5. Okay, next. That's it for problem 3. So let's pause right. Okay, so we're back after about a 6-minute break here to work numbers 4 through 9 and 12 in our workbook. If you need extra practice, I have the Goddets that I don't have the Goddets. All right, so let's move on to problem 4. Problem 3 we're going to skip for time's sake today. We're combining two smaller lessons into one. So this is doable, skipping problem 3. Problem 4 says, what is the fourth root of x to the third power over the eighth root of x squared in simplest forms? So what we have to do is we have to think our radicands are different, but both of the powers are the same variable. So let's write the expression using exponents. So this becomes the fourth root of x cubed becomes x to the 3/4 power, and the eighth root of x squared becomes x to the 2/8 power. 2 over 8. And again, remember, this is the index, it's on the bottom, and the power is on top. So now we've got a fraction divided by a fraction, right? So what can we do? Subtract them. So it's going to be x to the 3/4 minus x to the 2/8. And we can simplify 2/8 to 1/4, and now we have common denominators. So now it's just x to the 3 minus 1 over 4, which becomes x to the 1/2, which is just the square root of x. And that's all there is to that on problem 4. And there's some extra practice if you need it. And I would like for everybody now in their workbooks to work number 14 and 15. And I will give you about 4 minutes for that. And I'll pause the video. Okay. Now I'm coming back from working problems 14 and 15 after problem 4. And we're moving right along here on problem 5. Problem 5 says that we can simplify a number with a rational exponent by using properties of exponents or by converting the expression to a radical expression. So let's look at what they have in store this time. So what is each number in simplest forms? So they first give us 16 to the negative 2/5, and they give us two different methods. So let's just focus on method 1 here. And so it says, what's the first step? Rewrite your decimal exponent as a fraction in the lowest terms. So what would negative 2.5 be? Negative 5/2, right? So there's 16 to the negative 5/2 right here. And then we know that 16 is 2 to the 4th power to the negative 5/2. And now we've got a power times a power, so we can just multiply, right? So that becomes to the negative 20/2, which is negative 10, which becomes 1 over 2 to the 10th power. And 2 to the 10th power is 1,024. So our final answer here is 1,021 over 1,024. Now let's look at method 2. Method 2, we've got the same thing. We're starting out with 16 to the negative 5/2. And now they're going to take that as a negative exponent. So 1 over 16 to the positive 5/2. And then they rewrite that as 1 over radical 16 to the 5th power. So just using the rules we learned today. And that becomes the square root of 16 is 4, so we've got 1 over 4 to the 5th power, which is 1 over 1,024. So it is whichever method makes sense to you. I prefer method 1 myself, but it is up to you. In the end, we just want to get to the right answer. Now we've got another problem here. We've got negative 32 to the 4/5. Now they're throwing in a negative power. So negative 32 to the 4/5. Now we know we're working with fifths, so how about negative 32 is negative 2 to the 5th power. All right, and so I'm going to leave method 2 off this time. And so we've got the power to a power, so multiply. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 over 5 is 4. So we have negative 2 to the 4th power, which is 16. And I will quickly show the other in case if you prefer that. You can pause it at home and look over it. Okay, here's some extra practice if you need that. And at this point, we're going to pause and do workbook practice K, number 17. It shouldn't take you but about 2 minutes, so let's pause for 2 minutes.